So not considering colorways, which of these three do you think is the best? Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these potential bad boys right here. This is the Adidas Dawn Issue 6. This colorway, I'm not feeling it, to be perfectly honest. It's way too loud for me, but the shoe itself feels amazing, and they will come out with way more colorways than just this one. This is just the launch colorway. So if this is not your thing, just be patient. There's going to be a lot of stuff coming. But if this is your colorway, then let me know, because yeah, these are very bright. There are some cool features in there, but I'll talk about that later. Just in case you were wondering, this is the box. It's pretty simple. It's just black and red. It says trust your game on one side. It still has the spider emblem on there, as well as on the shoe. It's not as prominent as it has been on years past. So will there be like an actual Spider-Man themed version of these? I'm not sure. I don't actually remember if there was one of the 5s. I know there was one of the 4s. They were all kids. So yeah, will they do that here? I'm not sure. I guess you could consider a colorway of the issue 5, Spider-Man-ish. There's this like white and black colorway that you can kind of loosely consider to be the Spot, which you could consider as part of their overall theme, because they have done Venom and Carnage. So, you know, if you had all of them, you got a whole Spider-Man crew thing going on. It's pretty cool. But anyways, the outsole feels amazing, and I love what they've done to this. They've used simple radial design patterns, but they've implemented it in a way to where it's like every single type of strike zone as a basketball player is covered. So obviously right here at the main midfoot section, you got the overall radial pattern, which is dope, and you've got that extending down to the heel as well. But this little piece right there at the toe, where you do those little jab steps and step backs, that's something that regular radial would have taken care of by itself, so they didn't need to do that. But the fact that they did turn the pattern around and just kind of like implemented it specifically for that zone, I do think is nice. It shows that whoever's looking at this outsole and designing it understands the basic functional footwork that you need when playing the sport of basketball. One thing though is that the grooves are definitely thin, so if you're trying to grab these and playing them outdoors for whatever reason, I would recommend not doing that. I recommend maybe grabbing something from last year, like the issue 5s, if you can find them on clearance. Now, something that you can see through the translucent sections of the outsole is something that's not new to Adidas. They have their X-bar or X-frame torsion system, so you can kind of see it U-shaped right here as well as in the heel. And this piece does two different things. It adds torsion rigidity. That way you're not over twisting the shoe while you're inside of it playing. If you over twist the shoe without any real torsion support, then you can over twist your foot because you have it in a foreign object like this, much different than if you were barefoot. So it's just an added protection measure. For this particular midsole setup, you also have a gap here so it stops the drop. So if you're inside the shoe and your weight is applying all the pressure onto it, it's not going to bow down and flex and then also like ruin your arch and everything. So you can't bend it in half, you can't over twist it. And then lastly, when you see it extend like this into the forefoot, those are supposed to act as spring plates. So they're supposed to give you a snappy, propelling feeling while you're in motion. Now the midsole is interesting. We have two different types of foams, but they are the same overall foam. So what they're using here in the forefoot is what they're calling Light Strike Pro. Most of us that are accustomed to Adidas products, or for those of you guys that are accustomed to watching Adidas videos on this channel, you already know that Light Strike is something that Adidas has been using for a while now. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's lackluster. Light Strike Pro is kind of new to me, so it doesn't feel like crazy or anything on foot, at least from a try-on. Definitely something that I want to try on court and see how it plays. Is it going to be bouncier than the original Light Strike? I'm not really sure. What they did do though is put regular Light Strike in the heel. So again, you have this dual density setup where it's regular Light Strike in the back, Light Strike Pro in the front. How is that going to play while in transition? I'm really curious to find out. So this kind of reminds me of the Boost You Wear shoes. You remember those from back in the day? Those had boost exposed in the heel, and then I believe it was caged boost in the forefoot. And it was one of those shoes where you could really feel the heel like kind of like propelling you. It was a weird sensation. Is this going to be similar? Is it going to be opposite? Is it going to be completely different? I'll find out soon enough, so we'll give you guys a performance review and we'll go from there. And in case you were wondering, this is the insole. Yes, it's a piece of shit. It's pretty standard at this point for Adidas. So if you didn't want that in there and you wanted to change it out for whatever reason, you can do that. It's not glued in, so you can just remove it, or you can try it out with it in there. And if you decide that you don't like it, you can take it out. So there you go. And just in case you were wondering, this little arch plate right here is not carbon fiber. They did that to us on the AE ones as well with the little back plate. So it's carbon fiber looking, but it's not actual carbon fiber. It's just plastic molded in to make it look like carbon fiber. Now the materials are where things are just kind of, you know what I mean? It's whatever. You got a lot of engineered mesh along the upper. You do have some really cool color applications to it, so I really do dig that. I'm curious to see if there's gonna be like other variations like this where it's kind of like a reverse, you know what I mean? Like you got the dark purple in the front, hot pink in the back, and then reverse on the midsole. It'll be cool to see if they do that with other colors that aren't quite as pungent, but we'll see. They did apply the 3 stripes in the typical midfoot zone, something that we did not see in the Harden Volume 8 or the AE1, so it's a little bit more traditional. And those are actually there in a functional pattern as well, so they attach to the eye stays that you see where there's 3 nylon loops, and those are gonna wrap you down onto the footbed and keep you locked in and secured. But as far as materials go, it's gonna break in quickly, it's gonna be super breathable, so if you like all of that stuff, then there you go. Definitely different than something like this where it's a full-on EVA like upper, you know what I mean? Like this is definitely weird, takes some breaking in, and also definitely different than this. I don't remember what this is. It's just straight up rubber, you know what I mean? Like it's just crazy. Different setup altogether, very light in hand when you talk about all 3 of them. So 15.82 for the Harden, 17.57 for the AE1, and then 12.67 for the Dawn Issue 6. So yeah, if you're looking for a lightweight option, this is gonna be your guy in comparison to the other 2 models. And you can kind of feel that all the way around, from the midsole cushion setup all the way to the upper materials and all that stuff. Now, as far as fit is concerned, they do fit true to size, believe it or not. Adidas is kind of all over the place with their sizing. These guys fit me perfect, true to size. So that's what I would recommend for most people. If you're a wide footer, I'd wait till you see these in store, try them on just to be sure. And I know this isn't a performance feature, but for those of you guys that like 3M, it's on the toe. It was kind of cool. It was a nice little surprise that it was there. Now, with all that being said, what do we have for today's question of the day?
Who's the better mentor, Zordon or Master Splinter?
That's a great question.
Can I give my answer?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wanna know what you think first.
I would say Master Splinter.
Okay.
I'm all about the teacher being able to actually show you what to do. And Zordon's stuck in a tube. So
this is true. He's
wise and he gives good advice, but like he can't like show you anything.
But does he though? This is where I really wanted to hear your thought, because first off, I agree, Master Splinter. Reason being is totally different. I'm not gonna say Zordon's selfish, because what he's doing is for the greater good. But, I mean, who in their right mind would find 5 teenagers with attitude to save the world? Teenagers are volatile on their own, hormones galore. They can't control any emotion half the damn time, and you're gonna give them superpowers? That's one thing. And then on top of that, you can kind of take the whole Batman and Robin effect, which is like, what grown man is gonna go and throw these kids into these sticky situations to where they could potentially die? So there's that as well. And then giving them ginormous Zords. Look at what happens at the end of every episode. Cities are destroyed and nobody even talks about it. Everybody's complaining about what happens in the Snyderverse and shit, but it's just like, bro, the Power Rangers been wrecking shit since like what, 92, 93, somewhere around there. But I know that the original, like the Sentai stuff was like back in the 70s. So, you know, whatever. Whereas Master Splinter, first off, he's doing what he's doing with them, training them for their own protection. He knows that he's being hunted by the Foot Clan. He's just like, yo, so one day they're gonna find us. And not only that, we're freaks. So if just regular humans find us, I already know what they're about to do to us. You know what I mean? So like in that sense alone, he's trying to protect those kids. And that's the other thing, is that they're his kids. They call him dad and they're his sons, you know what I mean? Like he's just got a different level of teaching, you know what I mean? Like he's a true sensei in the sense of that stuff, whereas like Zordon's like, hey, you guys, go out there. If it doesn't work out, don't worry, we'll replace you. We did it many times every season. Great question, but what do you guys think? Master Splinter or Zordon? Who's the better leader? Sound off below, let us know. Also, let us know what you think about the Dawn Issue 6. What do you think about how they look? What do you think about their tech specs? How do you think Light Strike Pro is gonna play into the overall like grand scheme of things, where they've got Boost Light, and now they've got just a new variation of Light Strike? How do you think that Adidas is doing overall? You can't deny their sales, and I just think that the performance overall just speaks for itself. But sound off below and let us know. We would love to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for taking your time to hang out with us, by the way. We greatly appreciate it. It's because of you that this channel still running. So if you could do us a favor, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already. We would greatly appreciate all of that stuff. Stay tuned for a performance review on these potential bad boys. We will see you guys on the next one. Y'all have a good one.